Sam! How you doing, Sam?
Oh, I'm great. How are you on this fine, drizzly, horrible
it's
Saturday
miserable,
morning?
Isn't it? It's raining cats and dogs out there. Let's talk about the weather for 10 minutes. No, I'm good. I'm in a great mood this morning. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Should we take a look at some wrestling news?
I suppose we should.
Go on then. We've got a major return on last night's SmackDown, an update on WWE's plans for this year's SummerSlam, and New Japan Pro Wrestling has been forced to postpone some shows. We'll tell you more in a bit. Kicking things off with the news of a big return taking place on last night's SmackDown. It's somebody who we've not seen wrestle in over a year. He's the not head of the table, Jimmy Uso, making his return last night in the opening segment. He's looking absolutely fantastic. We've not seen him wrestle in over a year, his last match being at WrestleMania 36, 13 months ago. Which is bonkers, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Time's a weird thing right now. Obviously, we've seen him on our screens. We saw him at Hell in a Cell. We saw him at Clash of Champions, getting involved in various Roman Reigns matches. And it looks like we might be about to get a bit of a repeat of what we saw with the storyline with Jey Uso and Roman, where Jey Uso refused to acknowledge Roman Reigns as the head of the table. So Roman Reigns beat those words into his mouth. I'm sure that's how it works. And so Jimmy Uso looking like he's not going to acknowledge Roman, but who knows how long that's going to last. I think this is the start of like a big Anoa'i family faction. I fully expect Jimmy to end up acknowledging Roman, because this should continue for as long as possible because it's so entertaining. Roman is on the run of his career at the moment, without a doubt. And I expect it to get bigger and bigger. Maybe even throw in Nia Jax in the mix at some point.
If you just build it and build it and build it till there's only one member of the family who is glaringly missing, and he's the one who they were all originally the cousin of, or referred to, because The Rock was the guy.
He's up there.
There you go. So I think when we get to a point where Roman is just running the company with his own stable, then you bring The Rock in, then you end it all. But then you've got The Rock as champion, don't you? So you've got to quickly sort that out.
Roman's going over there. Roman's going over. I think WrestleMania Hollywood is the time to do it. I don't think that I'm going to get tired of this Roman Reigns head of the table stuff anytime soon. It's just so consistently entertaining. Anyway, speaking of Roman Reigns, he now has a challenger for Backlash. And this was set up by another huge returning superstar last night. Holla holla, player, Teddy Long showing his face on the Throwback episode. So he said that he'd been given powers by Adam Pearce for the night, and then said that Cesaro would earn a title shot against Reigns at Backlash if he could beat Seth Rollins. That's where Jimmy got involved, taking out Seth Rollins. Cesaro triumphing, and he's got that match at Backlash, which should be excellent. The more I think about this, and especially with Jimmy back, because there's a ready-made storyline there between Roman and Jimmy. Hopefully we get a bit of main event Jimmy, because Jay's had such a good year, and it would be a shame for Jimmy not to get the same sort of exposure. Anyway, we'll get that. I feel like, unfortunately, Cesaro is just a little speed bump for Reigns. He's not going to be the guy, is he?
Yeah, he's not.
But he's been elevated.
He's
been elevated. Hopefully his time will come. And maybe I'll be proved wrong. I hope I am. I really do. Oh, do I hope I am? It's a tough one, isn't it? It's a really tough one. Right, we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, we'll give you a quick update to the Backlash card. What we got on the show, Sam?
So we have WWE World Title match, Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman. We have the WWE Universal Title match, Roman Reigns defending his title against Cesaro. We have the Raw Women's Title match, Rhea Ripley defending her title against Asuka and Charlotte Flair. We have the SmackDown Women's Title match, which is Bianca Belair defending her title against Bayley. Finally, something. This is going to be good, hopefully, for Bayley. SmackDown Tag Team title match, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, the Dirty Dogs, or Top Dogs, guys, for defending their titles against Rey and Dominic Mysterio, who have arguably been the only tag team that seems to ever get any featured promo time at all
Street Profits.
days.
Street Profits,
yeah,
in
Street
fairness.
Profits do, actually. Yeah, it's sort of like those guys and Rey and Dominic, and then, the Top Dogs, they just get nothing, and they're champions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the other match that was added last night, Dolph and Roode versus Rey and Dominic, and I just feel like that should have happened at WrestleMania.
It's happened on SmackDown plenty.
Yeah, all right. But before we get to WrestleMania Backlash, we got a big title match set up for next week's SmackDown as well. With the women's tag team champions, Nia and Shayna, defending against Tamina and Natalya. In my opinion, this is probably going to end in a DQ, and then we'll just get a rematch at Backlash. Hopefully, with Tamina and Natalya going over. To be honest, I think they deserve it.
I think they're kind of really trying to build the seriousness around them being the daughters of legends, and they have credible move sets, and Natty is like a technical threat, and they've really actually put some effort into it. It's just they keep kind of forgetting that that's what they're doing, and occasionally jobbing them out on TV or making them look silly.
I feel like fans are into them as well. They had proper fan support at WrestleMania. It's obviously hard to tell on the weekly because it was a room full of screens, isn't it? Yeah. But I think people are into them. I'm getting behind. I know Ross is, obviously.
I mean, Reggie's going to 100% get involved in some way, shape, or form. But
yeah, maybe he causes the DQ or something, and then it happens. I don't see the titles changing next week, but I think they might change at Backlash if they do the match there. Before we move on from SmackDown, WWE have faced some fan WrestleMania backlash over the fist last night. So we all love a good fist, don't we? We all love
a good fist. That is going to haunt you.
Too easy. So last night saw the return of the SmackDown fist. But it was a big, what was it called, like an augmented reality thing? A big
AR.
You can see a picture of it there. Obviously, it doesn't look as good as the real fist. I was watching a thing about the real fist yesterday, and it weighs about 5 tons. And also, they would have had to redesign the entire entranceway to put it up there. So I don't know if people were expecting that, but it wasn't there.
All I'm going to say is, if you're billing this as a retro SmackDown, and you're using, the old SmackDown theme, and you have a warehouse full of things from the old stages and the entire sets, and you're in one venue that you don't move from, there are no fans there, you can build it.
It's massive. You don't realise how big that fist is. I was watching the warehouse thing. It's a big one.
What? So arenas have got massively smaller. It would definitely fit. It would definitely
it's a lot of admin. It's a lot of hassle.
No, it's like the NFL, right? The NFL, they have a line to mark the point where you have to get past the ball, right? That line costs $30,000 a game or something. That fist probably cost more than it would cost to get the real one down and put it up.
To design it, to get somebody to mock up,
to get it all in and get it done and get it all implemented and the software and all of that.
Let's move on.
Oh my God, just do it properly.
It was a weird, nostalgic SmackDown, wasn't it? Because it sort of featured bits from 80s WWE TV, 90s. It didn't quite make sense thematically. None of it. Yeah, no, I agree. Anyway, the fan backlash. WWE put out a tweet saying, "Did you miss it?" with a picture of the fist, which you can see on your screen now. And people are really kicking off about this. This was trending last night, the fist thing, because people were so upset. And so I've got some of the replies to that particular tweet, but there are loads of them. It received literally thousands of replies. People are really kicking off. It's the Constanza TM. I'm not sure if that is a registered trademark or not. Already turned the channel. Brandon Wood. No, because I wanted the whole set, not your crappy digital effects.
Well done, Brandon.
And Pro Wrestling Sports Debate. This is as disrespectful to the fans as you can get.
I firmly agree. It's the worst thing that ever happened.
Get a life. Sorry, no. So let us know if you cancelled your WWE Network subscription yesterday.
I know
I am. Anyway, moving forward. We got an update on WWE's plans for this year's SummerSlam, courtesy of WrestleVotes, who tweeted, WWE is looking to have SummerSlam to be the official kickoff as a return to touring. With that said, if things work out a certain way, the pay-per-view might even be earlier than usual this year. I've heard 3 to 4 locations are on the table, while one is having better odds than the other. Winky face. Right, I'm going to read between the lines here. The winky face means that this is a bit of a juicy one. I genuinely think it might be coming back to the UK. I genuinely think they might do. Come on, it's SummerSlam 92, Mate. One of my favourite pay-per-views ever. The UK returning to normal faster than certain states in the US, that's for sure.
Could you imagine?
It could happen. It could happen. It'll be legal by that time. It's traditionally August, obviously, but maybe it'll be July. But I think it'll be doable. Maybe that's what they mean. I don't know. It's speculation, isn't it? I mean, but it's an indication of when they're going to return to touring. They've apparently wanted to beat AEW to pit them to the post there as well.
Well, I was going to say, if we don't get SummerSlam, at least we'll get a house show at some point, and those lovely 2-pinters that cost like 11 quid.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Well, there's definitely something wrong with that. You know what? I'll take a house show at this point. I'll take anything. I just fancy seeing some live wrestling again. Speaking of live wrestling, New Japan cancelling their live wrestling. They've had to delay both of their stadium shows, issuing the following statement on their website. On Friday, May the 7th, the Japanese government announced an extension to the state of the emergency currently in place in Tokyo and other prefectures. In light of this announcement, as well as current COVID-19 injection status, and in order to prevent any potential further spread of the virus, New Japan Pro Wrestling has arrived at the decision to postpone the Wrestle Grand Slam events previously scheduled for May the 15th and 29th, respectively. Which obviously it's a shame. Things are awful in Japan right now, aren't they? With COVID stuff.
They're having to approve vaccines via their own government guidelines and standards as well. So things have really slowed down. I know they want to get to a point where they can vaccinate 1 million people a day, and they really want to take this seriously and get it down. They're really, really, really wanting to get this all under control. But yeah, I mean, I've had to put off a holiday to Japan twice now, so it's just getting worse and worse out there. But hopefully, they can keep it together and they can get it sorted, and we'll be able to return to normal, and we'll be able to have these big, lovely stadium shows, because I love big Japanese wrestling shows.
Yeah, totally. Well, we'll keep you updated on that and all the other stories, including the Backlash over the SmackDown fist, which is obviously the biggest one of the day. All the best. Give us a fist. Come on. Closer, 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 closer. See you in a bit for a second news video. All the best. Bye.
Fist.